Hi everyone, this is a data analytics training where we are going through the SQL basic to advanced, and also we are teaching Power BI basic to advanced with real-time report making and also dashboards. And also here in this training we are providing Azure Data Factory, where that is the data integration tool. So this is an add-on for your skills, which makes you as a unique to the other data with compared vision with the other data analyst. So Pavan is our trainer. He is working as a senior data analyst. He will take care of SQL Server and also a Power BI. I'm working as a data and engineer, where I'll take care of Azure Data Factory. This is about us. So first, we'll start how we are making you expert in the SQL Server. Like SQL language is very important, right? Because whenever you are attending the interview, the main core asset they'll see you on you is the problem solving. How efficiently you are writing the SQL program is the important task. So we mainly, whenever we are teaching the SQL programming, we mainly works on the scenario based problem solving, like case study wise learning also we'll have here. Pavan, please unmute here and we can take the classes.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. And as mentioned by Sai Karthika, we'll be discussing about curriculum of three subjects, right? SQL, Power BI, and ADF as an add-on. Okay, so here we'll just go through the SQL curriculum in detail, and then we'll move on to the Power BI. Okay, so here let us understand SQL. It means structured query language, right? So before entering into what is SQL and other things, let us understand what is data and database, right? As you understand data, it can be anything, right? Facts, figures, statistics, anything which can be collected and stored, and it is analyzed for various purposes by organizations. Data can be in any form, right? Numbers, text, images, audio, video, any format which can be digitally stored. It is called as data, right? So database, you can understand, it is organized collection of structured data, right? So data can be unstructured, semi-structured, structured. Structured means data can be organized in the form of tables, right? In the form of columns as well as rows, right? Where just like your page, or you could say just like your Excel sheet, the data can be organized in its structured format. So the data in the structured data, if it is organized collection, it is called as a database, and it is designed for efficiently managing, storing, and retrieving, and also manipulating large volumes of data whenever it is required by the organizations. Because organizations, the data which is produced is at a huge quantity, right? For example, let us take an website called e-commerce website called Amazon. Per day, like literally millions of consumers, or you could say users, will be logging into the Amazon, right? Searching for millions of products, purchasing millions of uh, products each and every day, right? So maintaining their data and their even user information and all those things will require huge will require huge management of data, actually, right? So we could understand the importance of databases, right? So there are different types of databases. So when it comes to structured data, so we'll be hearing more about these structured databases, which is called as relational databases, right? So like these are some common examples of you could say databases: MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, IBM Netizen. You can have a number of relational databases. So similarly, depending on the kind of data, we have different databases. For example, if it is semi-structured or unstructured data, we use something called NoSQL databases. So this MongoDB and Cassandra, they are little famous ones when it comes to NoSQL databases, right? And so here we could understand the different databases. If it is semi-structured, then it is semi-structured or unstructured. It is NoSQL databases are used. If it is structured data, we use relational databases. So similarly, depending on the kind of data, we use different databases like document databases, graph databases, right? Key value stores and column family stores. Like this, we'll have a number of even more different types of databases and even different more applications. Okay, so they are not much widely popular because of like based upon the utility or based upon very specific utility, they are restricted, right? When it comes to data analysis, especially, so these databases are very common, right? And also in among those databases, you could understand that Microsoft ecosystem is more prevalent, or you could say more frequent, right? For example, if it is an Oracle environment, they use Oracle database, right? If it is Postgre related environment, then they use PostgreSQL, right? If it is MySQL is like a database environment, they use MySQL. Similarly, if it is Microsoft environment, we use something called Microsoft SQL Server, right? So this in turn, it supports something called as Transact SQL, which we'll call it as TSQL. Okay, so TSQL is also used in SQL Server. Again, we will try to go through that. Like all the syntax, whatever it is related to Microsoft SQL Server, it more or less, it will be specifically related to only this application. So all these databases, if you understand concepts, there will be difference of only 5 to 10% of differences. Okay, not more than that. If you are aware of concepts well, like Google will help you with the syntax differences among the multiple databases. So it is required to master one particular SQL language. Then you'll be able to, even if you jump into some other role where you would be dealing with some other databases, need not panic. Since you are aware of the concepts, you'll be hired you'll be hired and you'll be given some time to equip with the other syntaxes and solve the problems, right? So language will not be a barrier if you are well aware of the concepts. Next thing is, we understood data and database. Let us understand what is database management systems, right? In order to use that language, we need a user interface which could support it, right? So such user interface which could support the software, it is called as a database management system, which is used to manage, manipulate, and control access to the database, right? And you could understand that database management systems, it provides a good user interface for the users and applications to interact with the database, allowing to store, retrieve, update, and delete data accordingly, right? So these are few key components where we can define data, manipulate data, secure the data, right? So even if multiple users are using at the same time, the control should be there, right? So we have something called concurrency control. And data backup and recovery, right, it should be there because no organization could afford to lose the data. And query optimization should be present because, for example, if a website is taking some 5 to 10 minutes for you to just open, so would you trust that website? No, right? So things should be optimized to fetch, or you could say get the user very optimized results and as quick results actually, right? And also wherever the databases has to be replicated and distributed, such components are related to the database management systems, right? These are a few key components. So the reason why I'm mentioning all these things into introduction part is, if you are a little aware of basic things, later we can gradually understand SQL in much deeper way gradually, right? So here you could understand there are relational database management systems. As we have discussed, it is in a tabular format with rows and columns. It is used for data manipulation and querying within databases, right? We have seen the examples. Here are a few more examples. You can see that. Similarly, NoSQL database management systems, they are designed to handle unstructured and semi-structured data, right? They offer designs for suitable large-scale distributed system where you could say GBs and TBs of data could be stored in the databases. And there it includes even other different family of databases again, which is of high level even different data types as well as high level data also it could store, whether it is geospatial data or whether it is data related to nodes or any other things. Like databases are well efficient and designed to manage. So similarly, if it is in the form of objects, we use something called object oriented database management systems. And again, it is designed for dealing with complex data structures. And also oops concepts are can also be used in that particular programming, right? So these are some examples where you can go through it. And similarly, if at all you are into big data and analytics and applications, then Apache, Cassandra, right, HBase, and like you would say Scala DB, they are commonly used for efficient storage and retrieval. Again, if at all your data is relating to some interconnected data, or if you want to manage data related to nodes, edges, and different kind of graph related data, or you could say graphical data, then you would be using graph database management systems. So you could see that Amazon, Neptune, and these are some examples. And one more commonly heard database, which is called SAP HANA, which is a in-memory database management systems, which is stored in memory rather than on disk, so that it could be accessed fastly, right? It provides faster access speeds. It is used for some real-time analytics and caching, so that it could help the users to get the data very quickly. So these are some different types of databases. I hope it is understandable, right? We'll try to understand different data models, right? So when it comes to data and database design and multiple things, it must be forming a structure, right? Suppose you have hundreds of tables, they must be interrelated with each other and forming a structure within a database. So the kind of structure or conceptual representation which is present among the data tables, different tables, it is called as a data model, right? It defines how the data is organized, it is how it is stored and how it could be accessed, right? And also like it could help to describe the logical and physical aspects of data, including different rows, attributes, constraints, relationships, and all the other things, right? So we could understand these are different these are commonly identified different data models: object oriented data model, entity relationship data model, network data models, hierarchical and relational. So commonly seen data models when it comes to data analysis part. So we'll be going through some entity relationship related thing and as well as relational thing, right? So when it comes to entity relationship diagram, which is ER diagram, so suppose that you have a data related to store. Okay. So store will have some store name, location, some manager details, and all those information, which is called as attributes. Again, store keeps some product. Okay. That whatever the keyword which we use to relate those two tables, we can call it as a relationship. And again, it can also have an attribute. It keeps the products in some quantity, or like maybe it can be in like kilograms or liters or anything. Depends on the kind of product, right? So this different tables, whatever it is present, store and product, they are called as entities. Okay. And again, this product, every product has a product name, price, description, all these things, they are called as attributes, right? So this ER model, it is a kind of conceptual diagram where you could understand the different entities, different relationships, different products, right? And you could understand the how it is connected with each other. And when it comes to notations, so these are some commonly known notations which you could understand when it comes to relationships, right? Entity is present in square bracket. This is in rhombus shape and oval shape for attributes. Composite attributes will be represented in this shape. Other key prime attributes will be represented in these formats, right? Some weak entities will be represented in double line shape, right? So these are some notations used for ER diagram. When it comes to advantages and disadvantages, ER diagram, it is more simplistic, right? The visual representation is quite easy and data integrity could be understood based upon the relationships it can be more flexible to design and represent because it is just a conceptual way of representation. Again, database design like is quite easy and understandable. And when it comes to disadvantages, it has some limited expressiveness, right? Things could be abstract, and kind of data, it could create some ambiguity, right? So if it is a product id, we don't know how the product id would be, whether it is a textual data or whether it is integer or anything, we are not sure, right? Whether it is numeric or alphanumeric or, well, we don't understand, so it creates an ambiguity. There will be some normalization challenges where you could understand that suppose there is a large table. So if we have some millions of rows, so those millions of rows will create data redundancy. Data redundancy means, for example, there is a column called region. Okay, so if we have four different regions, what are the four different regions? North, east, west, south. Okay, so these four regions, if there are some million rows, the region names, it will be populated in each and every row, right? So data, like there are only four distinct values, but the data is populated in million of rows. So what happens is it consumes more space and data, right? It will consume more memory. So we're making the data model more heavy, and it will create issues in the performance. So in order to limit that, in order to make it efficient, we do something called normalization, where we break that large table into multiple small chunks depending on the dimensions of data. Okay, so we could understand a fact table can a fact table with having different dimensions, it can be split, it can be related to dimension tables, where we'll be breaking into multiple chunks. This kind of process of breaking large table into multiple tables, it is called as normalization. Okay, there will be evolutionary changes again, where models, in order to make it user friendly as well as performance efficient, so er models lack at that position, right? So gradually, like we are for structured data, we'll be using this relational model, where you can see tables are interrelated based upon certain columns, right? For example, there is a student table where we have student ids, right? So each student can will be attending different classes, right, in different semesters. So you can see the second student is attending in class id 2 for different semesters, right? So this is something called course table, this is something called students table, and this course table is also again related to different courses, right? So for example, this particular class id, in that particular class id will have some subject which is taught based upon the class number, right? So you can understand, so the data is very interrelated and will be having certain common columns which could be related. Okay, so there could exist no duplicates within a relation. In, of course, the foreign key related things will have duplicates. We'll discuss about different keys later on. But again, we will be understanding how they will be related without any issue with the relationships. Again, when it comes to null values, suppose some data is not available. So usually the domain, or you could say the kind of columns, it cannot contain null values. But if you still want to use it, you can mention something like not applicable or does not exist for you to make it understandable, right? And this particular relational model also has some disadvantages, where like advantages and disadvantages. Some advantages are data is structured, right, flexible enough, data integrity could be maintained because things are already defined, and normalization could be done where large table can be like broken into multiple chunks, and we can separate the facts and dimensions. Scalability is possible, and security, data security is a major component, where without which no database can be utilized, right? Some disadvantages are like again, this relational model, if hundreds of tables are there or if multiple tables are there, again complexity would be an issue. and also performance depending on the kind of data, because huge data wherever it is present, again performance we have to resolve it based upon different queries, right? Scalability limitations would be there depending on the kind of data that we'll be depending on the kind of data that will be accessing it, right? And when it comes for the different tables, again it is joined by different joins, which in turn limit the performance, right? So all these things could be managed, but again disadvantages and advantages will be there for each and every tool, right? The schema changes, like suppose we were receiving some data in a numeric format, right? Suppose we are receiving that something in numeric format, and the next day the data like will be receiving that id in some alphanumeric, which is textual data, right? So again that schema change, whether it is able to we are able to handle it or not. Some data, if it is increased or decreased, columns if it is increased or decreased, whether we are able to manage such changes or not, it depends. Like it could be a disadvantage. Again, everything involves a cost, right? For organizations, since they have to use paid versions and like premium versions or express editions, so it will be involving some cost, right? Managing data will always involve some cost. Organizations will must have to keep the cost parameter into consideration. So these are few things uh, related to database, like database management systems and different models, right? So now we'll go through the curriculum. Like rest of the things we'll anyway gradually discuss, but let us go through the curriculum. So what we'll be learning about SQL Server in our curriculum, okay? So we'll discuss about introduction, like relational model and ER model, right? So after this, when it comes to SQL Server, we'll discuss about databases, schemas, tables, data types, right? Different commands, different keys and constraints, cascading referential integrity constraints, the different alter commands which is required, right? Identity, scope identity, and ident current. So we'll be, as a part of curriculum, we'll be discussing various types of joins, set operators, right? Aggregation functions, group by having, order by like operator, select into and insert into statements, different functions, especially about string and date and time functions, which are majorly used, subqueries, exist and not exist operator, right? Next, we'll be discussing something related to some advanced topics, which are related to CTEs, right? Views, temporary tables, stored procedures, user defined functions, cross apply and outer apply, window functions, indexes, computed columns, transactions, right? Try catch blocks, cube, roll up, grouping sets, case when statements, merge statements, pivoting and unpivoting, cursors, right? DML and DDL triggers would be our last topic, right? And also it includes some case studies, right? We'll be discussing some case studies where we'll, uh, we'll try to discuss about some complex problems. We'll try to solve those. And along with that, you could understand the concepts whatever you understand. So all these things, even like even if you are 1 year experience or 2 years or 3 years experience, like once you are equipped with the concepts, and you have to gradually practice, right? uh, like without practice you may not get enough confidence on these things. And second thing is, like the like it is not necessary that everything could be used and should be used in your role. Depending on the business requirement it will vary, but at least for to give your best for the interviews, whatever the wide range of topics that they would enter into for an experienced person, so all those concepts we'll try to discuss and cover them, right? Okay, so far this is about SQL and SQL curriculum. So do anyone have any queries? Please feel free to ask regarding SQL. Do anyone have any sort of queries?
Hi, all. If you have any questions, please ask, right? Mostly sessions are very interactive. And I think we already covered all the important topics in the SQL Server. As we already mentioned, our trainings will be going on the problem solving skill, improving problem solving skills, and the case study based learning. Any questions, feel free to take here. Otherwise, we'll jump into the Power BI curriculum discussion. Okay, you can chat also. You can, if you have any question, you can give a chat as well.
Okay,
Please continue.
okay, those who are hesitant to ask, like I request everyone, at least you could put it on chat box so that I could take it up and answer.
Hi, Prashant
Yes,
here.
yes, please.
Um, are you going to cover PL SQL also? Nowadays, procedures, if you see the modern data engineering, Databricks also going to come up with
Okay, since
support
it
with.
is, yes, I do understand. But when it comes to data analytics, this SQL Server and Power BI is specifically related to data analytics. So here we'll be covering only MS SQL Server related things, but not PLSQL. But again, once you're equipped with concepts, gradually, like maybe more than half of concepts would be covered when it comes to PLSQL also, right? So may advanced programming and all those things, it comes with experience. But here PLSQL we are not covering it, but like whatever it is required for data analytics part, we'll be covering it. Data engineering related to PySpark and all those things, it is a different curriculum.
Yeah, Prashant, we have one more training which equips the Azure data engineering like Databricks, PySpark, and the SQL coding as well, Spark SQL and all. If you are looking for that training, we are happy to attend you that demo as well. Clear, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah, clear. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So any other questions, anyone? So we'll now start with something called Power BI, introduction, right? So before talking about Power BI, let us understand what is BI. Okay. So we can understand BI, it is nothing but business intelligence, right? So it is actually a broad term which includes strategies and technologies which are used by the organizations which collect, like gather, analyze, and visualize the data, right? So why do they collect, organize, and analyze and visualize the data? To gain some valuable insights. So how would it help? It would help in their operations, right? Retaining customers, increasing the customer base, right? Sustaining in the industry with the competitors. So for all these things, this data will like help them improve, right? And when it comes to data, the data can come from multiple places, right? It can come from internal databases, it can come from CRM systems, social media, some external databases, and a number of sources, organizations, wherever they tend to get it, right? Even from websites and multiple places. So this is about business intelligence. You could, as a diagrammatic representation, you could understand different technologies like reporting, OLAP databases, analytics, data mining, right? Predictive analytics, which is data science related thing, descriptive analytics, which is our data analysis part. Data can come from external or internal sources. They are applied to the strategies which are operational and strategic in nature. Operations could include product positioning, pricing, and related things. Strategic could relate to some goals, priorities, and directions where the organization is heading towards. So this is something related to business intelligence. When it comes to advantages, you could understand that it helps in improved decision making. It helps in increased efficiency. It helps in improved customer satisfaction and also having an enhanced competitive advantage when it comes to finding new opportunities or threats, right? So organizations have to continuously improve their products and services. So to tailor them, to tailor the services better, to make the business better. So this business intelligence would act as a major, helpful tool. So in 2015, Microsoft Power BI has been launched, and if we understand, Tableau is launched a decade ago. Okay, prior to Power BI, a decade ago, and Tableau was launched. Again, we have different different tools like Click, Microsoft Power BI, MicroStrategy. These are all some business intelligence tools platforms. There is an organization called Gartner where they have analyzed the different tools in BA domain, and they have classified based upon completeness of vision as well as ability to execute. So the four quadrants, they have classified it as challengers, right, leaders, niche players, and some visionaries. So these leaders, earlier in 2015, Tableau was the leader, right, in the BA domain. When gradually, you could say industry starts changing, right, or tools starts improving, businesses starts improving. So Tableau, Click, and Microsoft were the top three tools in 2016. Gradually, from 2017, Tableau and Microsoft started taking a lead. From 2018, Microsoft started competing with Tableau a lot. Right, from 2018, there is no turn back. Okay, you could see Microsoft Power BI is a leading tool in the BA domain. From 2019, you can see 2020, 21, 22, 23, even 24. As of June, you can see as of June represented by the Gartner, Microsoft Power BI is the leading tool, right? So Microsoft ecosystem, they have a long-term vision, okay, in multiple things. So they are aiming, to make a monopoly. But again, even though if market things, market or you could say industry is uncertain, you could understand this business intelligence domain, like it it is a part and parcel of business, right? So they would be requiring the data each and every day. They would be dealing with the data each and every day. So when it comes to different roles in the industry, we have, these are commonly noticed roles: data engineers who bring the data, for data analysts and data scientists. Data analysts are those who analyze, visualize the data, make some reports. Data scientists are those who predict the data or forecast the data so that businesses can derive good insights and improve wherever they are lacking. ML engineers, they prepare models in order to make those predictions more accurate, right? So these are different, you could say, okay, so these are different roles which are available in the industry. Again, data analyst, especially if we focus upon, they will be they will be more focusing upon these things which is storytelling, data visualization, business insights, as well as metrics and reporting, right? So these are more important things which a data analyst would focus upon. Next, if you understand, if someone asks you what is the definition of Power BI, you can give the simplistic definition where it is a suite of tools for business intelligence, which will allow you to connect with different sources, transform and analyze the data to create interactive visualizations, to share some insights. So this is a simple and easy definition where you could, with like by using which you could understand what is Power BI, right? So it has some components. Okay, so what is the first component which you need to understand, which is Power Query, right? So for data acquisition and transformation, we use Power Query editor. Okay, so it is also present in Excel, but Power BI, Power Query editor, it is you could understand it is a boosted version of Power, Excel, right? So in 2015, Microsoft Power BI, what they have done is, you could understand Power Pivot, as well as Power Query, both they have merged it and they brought it into the Power BI, right? Along with the Power View, which is related to visualization, they have created the Power BI tool. So these are two major components which are brought from Excel, right? And data, when it comes to data sources, it can connect with wide range of data sources, whether it is file sources or cloud services sources or on-premises databases. It can connect with hundreds of data sources. Okay, we have another component related to data modeling and analysis. So as I have mentioned, Power Pivot, it is also present in Excel from long back. But again, when it comes to uh, using that Power Pivot in Power BI, which will allow you to perform some complex analysis, it has an enhanced version where you can use the DAX, right? In Excel also you can, in Power Pivot in Excel also you can use DAX, but again Power BI has its own importance to make the reports and model more efficient, right? So DAX is something called data analysis expressions, where it is a formula language which can extend the capabilities of your model by performing some calculations, right? So we can create some custom calculations like measures. We can create different calculated columns, calculated tables, right? And we can create some key performance indicators. And for all those things, we require DAX. Right? So DAX is used for performing analysis. Again, Power Pivot, we create data models. So these data models are like they are heart and soul of any report that you create. So everything is important, everything is interrelated. Without proper clean data, you would not be able to create a proper model. Without proper model, you will not be able to create, we will not be able to perform calculations. Without performing proper calculations, model and clean data, we will not be able to visualize and analyze and report. Right? Everything is interrelated and each component is equally important. When it comes to reporting, visualization and authoring, we have something related to Power BI desktop, right? Where it is a drag and drop interface, but again, it is a very useful interface where you can create reports using multiple visual elements and multiple other features as well. When it comes to sharing and collaboration, it is like Power BI service is a cloud-based service where you can share the reports with your clients through web, right? Through internet. And for mobile or smartphones or tablets related, applications, we have something called Power BI mobile applications. So where we can view the reports and dashboards on the users' smartphones and tablets. So we have some additional components. Okay, so these additional components, they are related to the on-premises version where it is only restricted to the organizations. For either it is for Power BI service or desktop, the data is kept on premises, so it is not even allowed to store on Power BI cloud server, right? So our Power BI provides the own server for organizations to keep the data even more secured. There is a tool called Power BI report builder, where organizations could create crystal clear reports, or you could say paginated reports, where reports can be used for printing and distribution. Okay, so we have something called data flows, where there are some automated data refresh processes which can keep your models up to date, right? And some data marts are some curated subsets of data which are designed for analysis, and you would be requiring some premium licenses in order to utilize those features along with that, right? So when it comes to building blocks, so we can have this 5 building blocks, which is reports, right? Tiles, dashboards, visualizations and data sets. So in reports, we'll be having something called visualizations, right? So whatever we create in Power BI desktop, they are called as reports. And those like suppose if you create multiple reports, like 10 reports, and like if you have to create a overview and create only one report for one overview report for client, then it is called as a dashboard. And this can be created in something called Power BI desktop. This can be dashboard can be created only in Power BI service. Okay, so usually people mistake with the terminologies reports and dashboards. They are two different things. Dashboards are created only in Power BI service using the multiple reports which are created in Power BI desktop. Reports consist of visualizations. Using those visualizations, when a dashboard is created, it is called, those visualizations, they are called as tiles. Okay, so for creating tiles or visualizations, you need something called as data sets, again in which can come from different sources. Okay, so I'll show this some disadvantages and advantages. Okay, so some disadvantages and advantages of Power BI are like it is cost effective. Custom visualizations are being developed on regular basis. Data integration could be possible with multiple tools. Data connectivity could be possible with multiple sources. Regular updates are provided in Power BI. Every month, Power BI gets updated with multiple new features, right? Power BI embedded application helps the users to, embed their reports in multiple custom applications of their clients. And Power BI is an enterprise ready software where organizations could subscribe, or you could say buy the premium, and like buy the licenses, and then work on their business intelligence reports. When it comes to disadvantages, we have something called, complex relationships. If we have multiple tables, relationships could be complex, right? And when it comes to configuration of visuals, continuous improvement is required, and third party sources, all those custom visualizations, continuously they are being developed. But again, when it comes to tool, it has a bulky interface where you would require some good amount of RAM for your system. Again, DAX is a good formula language, but again, when it comes to complex business problems, you need to understand how it is used, and complex formulas would be required to develop. Again, when it comes to large data, we can handle with different modes of connection, and one of the mode for handling databases, it is called as direct query mode. We'll talk in detail while we discuss with the sessions. So such large data could be handled, right? And potential vendor lock-in could be there, where suppose for our, like, currently from past 10 years or maybe from past 8 years, Power BI is into, the thing. Again, for the next decade also, maybe mostly Power BI could, of course, sustain the market. But again, suppose suddenly a new advanced tool comes into the picture, again, there could be a possibility of vendor lock-in, right? For example, like, all the reports are made in Power BI, and suppose new tool comes in, so there could be possibility that, for migrating, the clients would require some more, you know like, risk to take in or cost involved in. Like, for example, from the past few years, if you notice, Tableau, you could say, like, there is something called Domo, like, right? There are multiple tools. So especially Tableau and Domo, what I understand, like, they are those projects are migrated to Power BI because of low cost, right? So potential vendor lock-in could be a possible, possible disadvantage. But again, risk would everywhere and anywhere be there, right? There is no ideal thing. Excel was used even, 2-3 decades ago. SQL was used 2-3 decades ago. Power BI is into industry from past 9 years, right? So in 2025, it would be a decade. But again, like tools, like Python is also from few decades. So tools, it might change, it might not change. But again, if you are well equipped with concepts, then even if new tool, if you want to enter into new tool, you'll not be facing much challenge. Okay, so these are few things when it comes to introduction part. I'll just quickly make you go through the curriculum, and then we'll discuss about few other things. Okay, so here we'll be talking about introduction part, right? So all those things related to introduction part, and we'll start with, Power Query Editor. Understand the Power Query editor in detail, and how things could be loaded to the Power Pivot model in Power BI. Once we understand that, we'll be discussing something called as data transformation related to Power Query, right? So this Power Query related to each and every feature of Power Query, will be discussing it, and we'll try to understand all those things in detail related to Power Query editor. Once the data is cleaned and transformed, right, we'll be doing the data modeling, right? We'll understand what is data modeling, relationships, cardinality, how to manage them. We'll understand what is normalization, how to deal with active and inactive relationships, right? Cross filter, or you could say bidirectional relationship, right? What is role playing dimension, and we'll understand the importance of date table and creating date table using multiple ways, right? Like in multiple ways. And we'll try to even understand an external tool in order to create more efficient data model date table, right? And after data modeling, we'll be discussing something called DAX. Okay, so this DAX, you could understand, like, it is data analysis expressions, where it is a formula language where it has multiple key components to be understandable, right? These are some key components which you need to understand. Once key components are understandable, we'll be we're discussing various functions. So that there are more than 250 plus functions in DAX. You need not learn all those functions. Whatever the major and important functions are required, we'll be discussing more than 100 functions, right? Which are used in day-to-day analysis, right? So this is about DAX. After DAX, we'll gradually jump into data visualization part. So we'll understand all the visualizations, custom visuals, different features related to that, right? All the best practices and some custom visualizations. All those things we'll understand data visualization in detail. Once we understand all the data visualization features and all those things, we'll move ahead and create some report, right? So in report we'll be use all those features which we have discussed till now, and then create a good report. Once a report is being created, so we could understand something called data distribution and Power BI service, where we'll be publishing that power report to the Power Cloud service, right, which is Power BI service. We'll understand some key aspects of Power BI service, where how we'll be dealing with the workspace, how we'll be creating a report, what is data gateways, what is schedule refresh, different roles in workspace, advantages and disadvantages of it, right? Multiple things we'll discuss, and even we'll discuss something called how to refresh, use the schedule refresh using Power Automate, right? So till here we'll be covering that Power BI service, starting from data extraction, right, taking till taking towards data transformation, then towards data modeling, and then towards data visualization, right? Then we'll discuss about something called reporting, and then we'll talk about something called data distribution related to Power BI service. So from starting to end, this would be our Power BI workflow, where we'll be understanding Power BI in detail, right? Apart from this, as a part of community, we'll be conducting webinars every week mostly, or even if one or other week is skipped, again you'll be having SQL or Power BI or other tool related webinars for free, right? And this is all about Power BI curriculum. So do anyone have any sort of query related to Power BI so far? Anyone? Please feel free to ask. So do anyone have any sort of queries on the Power BI curriculum? Please feel free to ask.
Okay, I think everyone is clear. Yeah,
Okay,
Pawan.
so I'll request Sai Karthika to take few things related to ADF.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'll just scroll down.
Sorry
Please
to
go. Yeah,
disturb.
yeah, Prashant.
Yeah, I have one question. I don't know much about Power BI, and I'm just hearing something like Power Apps. Is it related to Power BI, or how it is different from Power BI? Is it really required for data analysis?
Okay, so before that, of course, I'll just show you few things. So when it comes to Power Apps, so Microsoft Power Plat, I hope my screen is visible. Microsoft Power Platform, Power BI is a component, like Power BI is a part of it. So Power Apps, it is used for creating applications. Power Automate is used for automating things. Power Virtual Agents is related to chatbots, and Power Pages related to web pages, right? So they are all part of Microsoft ecosystem, where it is, or you could say Microsoft Power Platform ecosystem, where you'll be learning things gradually. So once you are equipped with Power BI, once you create reports and all those things, so maybe gradually, like if your organization requires some application to develop, so you'll be learning Power Apps to become you'll be part of Power Platform related developer, right? So those things, like those applications, they are different applications, but they could be integrated with each other, Okay, so if you are a fresher, then you must be developing that Power BI data analytics related skills. Gradually, once you are, once you are good with those, and if you find your interest within Power Platform related tools, then you could explore those. That I would suggest that. Again, if at all you yeah, like you don't want to enter into data analytics, and if you want to specifically get into Microsoft Power Platform, that is also fine. But again, it requires some data analysis skills. You need to have such skills, whether it is whether it is programming or analysis reporting or any, even if it is not Power BI, if you are familiar with any other tools like Tableau and other things, that is also fine.
So even by using Power Apps, we are going to do analysis at the end of the day, is it?
No, actually Power Apps, it is mostly it is related to creating application, not like analysis. You won't be doing any sort of analysis or
Maybe
anything.
front end, Prashant. It is related to the front
Okay,
end.
okay.
It is where you would be creating application, like mobile application, right? So
Mhm.
or web application, right? Similarly, you would be creating the application. You would not be
Okay,
doing
okay.
an analysis or reporting or anything. All those things will be done in Power BI.
Imagine
got
you
it.
have the Paytm app in your mobile, like Paytm Money or stock market related things. At the end of the day, okay, that is maybe that is developed using the Power Apps mobile app, and the Power BI analysis, like that reports how stocks are moving and all that Power BI reports is going to take in care. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Suppose a business has an application. Suppose this is a mobile application. You will be having some menu, right? So if you click on that menu, some new page will open up. So this particular user interface which you would be creating, it can be created using Power Apps, right? And it like it Power Apps you can create mobile application, tablet or smartphone application, or even web application. All those things you can create and then publish, right? It is used for creating applications, in short. Again,
Yeah.
it uses another language called Power FX and all those things. So it is a completely different platform where you need to learn things.
Okay, what is the language? Power?
FX.
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other queries, anyone? Okay, so if there are no queries, I would request Sai Karthika to take ahead with ADF.
Yeah. We will continue to the ADF. Actually, industry is expecting data. Actually, ADF is the ETL or data integration skill. Okay, this is not related to the data visualization or data analysis. This is the part which comes before data analysis. Okay, and this is the data integration skill where industry is expecting nowadays. Just we'll have a brief overview of how data factory is going to work, and it is a skill of data engineer, not the skill of data analytics, but it is good to have the Azure Data Factory in your resume. For that, we'll have few pipelines, and we'll showcase our data factory skills to the interviewer also. So that's the purpose why we kept Azure Data Factory also into the data analytics course. Yeah, firstly, we'll take over into the introduction of Azure Data Factory. And before that, we have to understand what are the big data concepts. Okay, I'll take you into what is the big data. We know the data, right? Generally, the data means whenever in your school education or in your college education, you have seen your registration, like in a class registration, right? So there we have table like structure where we have the class data, like student ID, student name, student address, phone number, marks, percentage, all this come to the data. That data is called as the structured data, which is accommodated in the paper format. Sorry that for that. Yeah, that I mentioned, right? In the school, wherever we enter the information, whenever we are studying in our school education. At that time, generally people will be taking care of the registration, right? Registers. There, a student information is accommodated in the register. So that is the paper information where we are storing our data. Later on, the industry evolved and so many things are evolved. So Excel, Microsoft Office came and Excel sheet came. Then industry or school education or college education developed and they entered the information in the Excel sheet. And coming nowadays, the data is entered into the databases, like how Pawan has explained recently, right? Just now, how SQL works and how the database is going to taken care. So likewise, the data needs to be entered in the database. If you see, Amazon is there. So Amazon, how many users are there? Vast number of users are available in the Amazon, right? See, Amazon is not evolved in this era. It is evolved 20 years back only, 20 to 25 years back. So imagine at that time how much of data is available for Amazon. From there to now, how they are storing the Amazon data. So from 20 to 25 years till today, they have millions, trillions, and some petabytes of data, terabytes of data. There is a vast amount of data. How to manage that much of data? It is not the case, right? In school, we have only few students, maybe 60 students per a class. Okay, our overall school maybe 500 students or 1000 students. In the case of Amazon, it is not the like, right? It is a mobile application. As a person, I'm Kartika, I'm generating so much. I'll keep weekly one order, monthly one order. As a person, I'm generating some data to the Amazon. Likewise, the world is generating data for the Amazon, right? Like that kind of data is called a big data. So how they are managing the big data, how they are storing, how they are transforming the data, how they are integrated. All these things we look into the what is big data and what are 4 V's, like volume of data, velocity of data, variety of data, and veracity of data. Means it is not the case, right? Every time we will get the structured data. Sometimes we'll get the semi-structured data, unstructured data. I'll take you over through the what are the types of data types as well, and also the what are the different types of file formats. It is very hard to get to the terms of this terminology. File formats, databases, data engineering work is really very hard, but it is for data analytics, it is not that much of important, but have some knowledge in data engineering as well. That is the concept of why we included data Azure Data Factory here. And importance of big data in modern businesses, that is one which we are covering. And also introduction to the cloud. So we know, right, there are 3 major clouds nowadays. One is the Azure, which is built by the Microsoft. One more is the Amazon, which is done by the AWS cloud, done by the Amazon. And one more is the GCP. GCP is the Google cloud provider by the Google. We'll take over to all the introduction of the clouds, and there are so many clouds available which we are not going to take care of those clouds. And we will take over to the what is the public cloud, what is the private cloud, and also hybrid clouds as well. And I'll make you the difference of what is the database, what is the data warehouse, data lake, and data lakehouse. What are the major differences between all these 3 as well, these 4. And at which what is the importance when we are using a database, a data warehouse, a data lake. Also we'll have a look on this big data concepts. And Azure Data Factory, coming to Azure Data Factory, we'll have, I mentioned it already, Azure Data Factory is the data integration tool. Basically it is a ETL tool. ETL means extract the data wherever the source is. I mentioned it, Amazon is a 25 years old company. 25 years old company means it has the data who is 24 years old till now. Means maybe the person who has 50 years now, he is the user of the Amazon, means at the age of 25 he entered some data, right? Imagine he at the form, end of the day, the database data is going to come by using the forms of the by using the forms, right? Whenever you are signing up some page or whenever you are filling one form, the data is going to store into the database. Likewise, at the time, the person who is maybe Ram or Ravi entered the data when he is at the age of 25. Now he is at the age of 50. That form and this form is very different, right? So we have to do some transformations here. So end of the day, ADF is an ETL tool where we are going to extract the data from different sources and load the data into destination, where destination in the sense data warehouse. Data warehouse is going to point to the Power BI or any data visualization tool like Looker, Tableau. It may be any tool which is preferred by the business owner. Business owner wanted to see their data in the terms of the visualization. That is the whole process where data engineering is going to work and do the hard work to transform the data, to extract the data, and to transform the data and load the data into the destination. So I'll take over you the what is Azure Data Factory. and what are the key features in it, what are the benefits we are going to get when we use the ETL tool as Azure Data Factory. In market, we have so many ETL tools, right? Informatica Cloud or SSIS, Airflow, Glue, DBT, so many tools are there. What is specialty in Azure Data Factory? Also, we'll have a look on that. In ADF, we'll have the scenarios. Each and every class will have some labs. After our class, we'll have some lab. Try to figure it out on that lab, and we'll have some real-time experience on Azure Data Factory as well. And different kinds of integration runtime. I'll take over you the what is integration runtime, and what are the types of the integration runtime as well, and how to set up this integration runtime also. I'll take over you to these things. And come down, linked services. Linked services are kind of connections. I'll tell you one example. Maybe Amazon has the data in their DB2 databases. DB2 is very old databases, okay? And DB2 developer, maybe legacy database, and also they have the data in the Excel data. So, and also they have their own SQL Server databases. They have 3 different data sources, right? So now by using Azure Data Factory, we'll extract the data from Excel files and SQL Server database and also DB2 databases, and we'll do some transformation and load data into the Azure Data Lake, Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Here, extraction process, the source databases is there, right? Maybe those are available on the ARM premises. ARM premises means wherever you are located, right? Means my laptop. In my laptop, I have SQL Server, which is available in my own premises. Okay. Likewise, Amazon also have their own databases in their premises. If you are really working in the IT industry, you can see some server rules. Means their premises, they have their own servers, which has their own data. So likewise, I have my own SQL Server where I have my data is available in my RAM, CPU kind of thing. So because ADF is available in the cloud and my SQL Server is available in my on-premises, right? There is no connection between my on-premises laptop and the ADF. So establish the connection, we have to use the integration runtime and the linked service. Linked service is kind of a connection between the databases, data lake, or file formats, anything. Okay, remember that is a kind of a connection. Okay. And data sets. What are the data sets? Data sets are a table, right? You know, data in SQL or in a SQL Server database, we have tables like employee table, or customer table, department table, kind of tables. Tables or files are called as data set. I'll make you some examples how to create the data set, how to use this data set, and how to configure these things also. And we'll have some hands-on labs also how to do the things by using the data sets. Also linked services and integration runtime. Come down, Pawan.
Yes.
And I already mentioned ETL, right? Here we are doing one pipeline. In the sense, in ETL, our data integration orchestration, we'll call this the pipelines. Pipelines in the sense, data pipelines means it is a connections, right? Generally, pipe means connecting something, one pipe with another pipe, one pipe with other pipe. Likewise, ETL also code-free orchestration. We are not going to write any code, like, you know, just writing, we are writing some expression. It is very easy to understand, but it has some scenarios which needs to be implemented. So that's why each and every topic, we have some labs to get that type of scenarios in our minds. Okay. And these are the data pipelines where I'll take over you the how to create the pipeline and all. And parameters and the variable also I'll explain you how to create the parameters and variables in the Azure Data Factory. Come down, Pawan.
Yes.
And copy data. It is very easy to load data from Azure SQL, maybe SQL database, which is located in your laptop, and into the data lake by using copy activity. Just if we have to drag the activity and we can give the connections and we can run the pipeline, then it is going to load the data. I'll show you how to create the copy activity as well. And data flow activities, I am already mentioned, that is a code-free orchestration where we no need to write any code. Just we have to select the source and we have to do some type of filter. Like, you know, if we want, suppose we have the employee data where we have 10 employees. In the 10 employees, 5 employees are belonging to the EC department, and 3 employees are belonging to the CSE department, and 2 employees are belonging to the mechanical department. I wanted to filter those mechanical department data and give only the CSE and EC data, department data. That type of transformation, right, will easily can be done by using the data flow activity. And how to configure the Azure integration runtime also I'll show you. Yeah, and self-host, that is integration runtime, the kind of a connections I'll explain you detailedly. And coming to the data means, that is asset, right? Everyone has a data that is asset. They'll feel like their asset to them. So they need to have some security. They have to follow some compliances. As we are in India also follows some compliances, right? Likewise, US, Singapore, every country has their compliances. We have to follow their compliances. We have to follow the security standards also, and also we have to follow the encryption methods, because data is moving. Data is not alone one side, right? Whenever we are doing ETL process, means extract, transform, and data is moving from one side to another side. At the time, we have to be more secure. So whenever we are creating the connection, the system assigned managed identities and user assigned managed identities are kind of a security kind of things of authentication types. And these are the below activities: lookup and metadata activity. These all things will be useful for querying and all. I'll explain you these things in the near classes. Come down, Pavan. And for each activity, it is not the case, right? When I am loading employee table from SQL database to the maybe data lake, means if for each table load, I cannot create multiple files, right? Multiple pipelines means need to have one single pipeline, and that pipeline need to have multiple connections and need to load the data into the destination at a time. Means we need some loop. We need some loop which is going to first execute for the customer data, next it is going to execute for the employee data, next it is going to do the department data. Likewise, we have the for each activity here and failover validate activity, which it is like a programming language only, but here we no need to write any code. Like if you wanted to use switch activity, if activity, until activity, all activities are present in our Azure Data Factory. Come down, Pawan. And set and append variable also will have a look on. And to execute the stored procedures which you write using your SQL code, we can have an option to execute stored procedure also in Azure Data Factory. And triggers means we created the pipelines, and we cannot be there, right? As a data engineer, I want, my business owner asked me that you have to execute this pipeline every week at 10 a.m. Means I am not going to, sometimes we are not available at 10 a.m. we cannot run. It is not the case, right? One person needs to come and need to execute that pipeline. So it automatically needs to trigger, like scheduling, event trigger, blob trigger, kind of triggers are there. I'm going to explain those things as well. And monitoring and managing pipeline. These things are very important when you are working on the support roles. Okay. How to monitor the pipeline, how to manage the existing pipelines as well. And we have the advanced concepts where we'll do the incremental data loading and handling the schema changes and integration with the other Azure services like Azure SQL Database, Azure Data Lake Gen 2, Azure SQL Data Warehouse. And we have some Power Query related activities also if time permits. And real world case studies. Here we'll have some three case studies, three type of POCs we'll do. Data migration from on-premises to cloud, building a data warehouse with Azure Data Factory. Also, we'll have a look on the real-world case studies. All over our course, we'll have some best practices, and not only in the ADF, also SQL Server, and also the Power BI. And the security, I already mentioned few things. We know, as if we are working in the data world, we need to remember how much security we are maintaining and how we are doing the troubleshooting and how much optimization we are maintaining. End of the day, business owner need to have they need to look into how much price we are doing and how much efficient our pipelines are, visualization got built, right? So that is the performance standards we have to take care. And also additional documentations we'll provide, blogs and articles also will be there. And anyway, we have our own community where we'll give you the webinars and all. Yeah, if you have any question and answers, also we have our own question and answer sessions. We'll make you through the certification preparation also. This is about the course. Any questions, please let us know. Actually, ADF is not the part of the data analytics, but if you have a data ADF, then it will be the asset for you only, because end of the day, data analysts have the data analysis skills and also problem solving skills using the SQL Server. That is fine for you. If you have a ADF, then it is good to have. It is not the compulsory course for you. If you have ADF is not the compulsory course. Just we have to distinguish our students with others. We give an ADF for our students. Yeah, any questions? We're happy to take. Ramya, Prashant, Kranti, Harry, Soumya.
Like, how the classes are going to be? I mean, oftener SQL, oftener Power BI, is it that kind
No,
or
no.
else?
No, Soumya. Actually, the classes will be first SQL Server, next Power BI, and next ADF. We have to complete one by one. It is not the case. Everything needs to be a one. First, we have the SQL Server, then only Power BI needs to be start, then only the ADF needs to be start. Before ADF, we'll have some big data concepts as well. Yeah, that is about it. Yeah, so any question?
So totally,
Okay. And
sorry to interrupt. SQL, like SQL, Power BI, ADF will be like SQL will be taking around 20 sessions, Power BI around 25 sessions, and ADF will be taking accordingly. Like totally, you could expect around 65 plus sessions, live sessions,
okay.
right? So like it will be continuous. Every day will be like Monday to Friday, every day 1 hour. We'll be scheduling it and we'll be taking the session.
Okay.
Most probably it would be around either 7 to 8 or 8 to 9 kind of thing.
Okay.
Any other
Yep.
queries, anyone? Please feel free to ask.
Do you have any certification especially for ADF? Like you are talking about certification preparation.
Sai Kartika?
Yeah,
Sai
sorry
Karthik?
for that. Can I get one more time? What is the question, Prashant?
ADF related, are there any official certifications?
Yeah, we have the DP 203, which is it is not related to ADF. It is an Azure Data Engineering certificate, kind of associate
Okay.
certificate, Prashant.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a part of that.
Yeah, fine.
Actually, data engineering, the ADF is a skill of data engineer, and I'm definitely going to tell you, in future, data analyst is going to become a data engineer, and data engineer is going to become a data science or MLA engineer. So that's why in upfront we are included this ADF to you guys.
Yeah, end of the day, few of the companies are expecting end to end. In few of the companies, data engineer is doing the Power BI part. Like, yeah, from my experience, I'm just telling. And good that you included few things like managed identity, user system assigned, and user assigned managed identity. Really, in the projects when people are working, right, they don't know what's the use of that. Just like that, they will use. So, few concepts which you included are good.
Thank you, Prashant. So end of the day, whenever we are working on data analytics or data engineering or data science, we have to remember the compliances part, security part, and governance part. These are plays a very important role. Those called as non-functional requirements. Please have a look on non-functional requirements. In our course, we'll take you through all those non-functional requirements as well. Yeah, any questions, guys? If you have anything, if anyone interested in this course, please ping me, guys, and we'll share you the classes will start from the Wednesday onwards. We'll let you know about the timings and all. Yeah. If no questions, we'll wrap up the session. Thank you, Pawan. Thanks for the nice session.
Thank you everyone for yes. Thank you, Sai Karthika, and thank you everyone for attending. Have a nice day.
Good day, guys.
Thank you, Pawan. Thank you, Kartika. Bye.